Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to another edition of White Sox Daily Live. My name is Ian Eskridge, and I am here with my co-host, the Danny Miller. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. Wife and I spent the weekend getting ourselves set up at the new permanent campsite.
Mm.
Brought the old house on wheels out there, aka the race hotel. And we stuck it on our grounds. We are parked across the street from a lake in front of us and a creek behind us, so I got water on both sides. Spent the weekend out there getting everything cleaned up and ready to go, and it's only about a half an hour away from work for me, so I actually spent the morning hanging out with the geese before I went to work. So it's a good day, man.
Not
How
bad.
are you doing, man?
Doing all right. Busy weekend, out doing shows every day, and I got the same coming up this weekend. So, you know, um, I am going to be actually mixing Chains Over Racers coming up here shortly.
Hey,
Yeah, in Tinley Park next Thursday night. So that'll
next
be
Thursday night.
that'll be interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, watching some winning White Sox baseball for 2 out of 3. Completely foreign thing. You know.
Against a pretty good ball club at that.
Yeah. I mean, against the best baseball team, record wise at least in Major League Baseball. So
Right.
you know. Um, Watched some minor league stuff over the weekend as well, obviously.
Yeah. The 2 out of 3 against the Braves. This is the point the season turns around.
Yeah, the White Sox are back. The White Sox are back. Um, yeah, I don't think so. And I think you would have to think that regardless of what's going to happen over the next like 2 weeks or whatever, um, that the thoughts of selling are not going away just based on a 2 week sample. At least you wouldn't think so.
Yeah. No. No, I'll be honest, and I told you this pre-show here, but I did not watch a single inning of that Brave series. I'll be completely honest with our fans. I did catch some updates. I did catch some articles and some little Twitter posts here and there, but as I said, I was out and about in the in the I'm going to throw the air quotes up there for the live viewers. I was out there in the country. But I feel like I didn't miss much, even though they did win 2 out of 3. And you know, I had a happy weekend.
I the
So
second
we
two
could,
the second and the third game they actually played some good baseball. I mean,
and that I mean
surprisingly.
that's pretty much the feeling I got when I was seeing these things. But at the same time, I'm at the point in the season where I've seen this. For the last 2 years, where we get this feeling of like, here they come, here they go. They're finally putting it together. We've said it here, I don't know how many times this season, kind of hanging our hat on a new regime and a new coaching staff, and hoping that things were going to change. And we've seen that White Sox Twitter go off on this is it, this is the moment. Here we go. Things are going to
Everybody
turn
get
around.
excited.
We're only 5 games back. We're only 6 games back. The Central is still ours. And and we fizzles out. So okay, great. They played some good baseball. I'm not going to get excited about it until they do that sustainably over a really good amount of time. Like, I don't know, the entire second half here.
Yeah, like the thing is that with how badly they played in the first half, I mean, it can't get much worse. I think they were what, like, I think at the lowest point, I think they hit 17 games under 500 with the loss to the Braves. I think they were 17 under with that. And I mean, the division's awful. So, I mean, conceivably, they could make a run at the division, but I mean, like the thing is that like they put themselves in such a hole in the first, three, what is it, May, June, July. Yeah, so I mean, like the first 2.5 months of the season, you put yourself in that big of a hole. I just don't see how you climb out of that, and unless they just go on a straight heater for the next 2 months, and take the division. I mean, possibly they could look dangerous coming into the playoffs if they were to win the division, because I mean, in order for them to win this division, they're going to have to be on a serious heater to be able to do that. And like with being that far under 500, in the front office conceivably making the decision that they were going to actually sell off, come the trade deadline. If they make a run, even if they do sell off some pieces, it'll be a pretty huge story. So
Yeah, I mean that's a la 2001. You know, actually even a bigger story than say the 2001 Oakland A's going on a 20 game win streak type thing, because the Oakland A's during that season were never 17 games under 500.
no,
You know, and we make Moneyball references here. I won't say often, but quite a bit, just because it's fun to do that in comparison, and how ridiculous that comparison can be at times. But the thing is that Oakland A's team that was not mentioned in that movie a whole lot was the pitching staff that they had.
yeah, exactly.
And I am sorry to say to White Sox fans that the 2023 White Sox do not have the same sort of starting staff that team did. On paper, they should
I
possibly
mean,
have that type of starting staff.
they've put up some, I mean, it didn't start off that way, but Lance Lynn has certainly come on as of late, and Dylan Cease has also upped his game, and Giolito's been solid, pretty much most of the season. Just you got Clevenger injured, and you've got Jesse Schulten's making a handful of starts here and there, and Kopech's been mostly miss and a couple of hits.
Yeah, but all of those guys that we talk about, Giolito, Cease, Lynn, Kopech, uh, none of them are even Mark Mulder esque, as let alone Barry Zito esque of that 2020 or the
Well,
2001 season.
yeah,
I
you don't
mean,
have three guys getting 20 wins or whatever it was that they did. But
right, and that's even if you had an offense to back up that starting pitching. None of these guys would have been in a 20 game range, I don't think, by the end of the season.
I would say that if anybody was going to do it, it would be Giolito. But again, the offense has been so terrible that none of win as a stat, wins as a stat is whatever. I mean, it's like a
Right, it's a team stat, really, honestly.
yeah, 100% a team stat, but well, I mean not 100%, but like 80% is a team stat, and yeah, I don't. I mean, with this offense, there's just no way that anybody would have even gotten close to that. Um, Even if they had like a 1 ERA, it wouldn't have mattered, because if you
Right.
don't score
I'm
any
pretty
runs, you can't
sure,
win.
without going back and actually looking at the numbers, all three of those guys had like sub 1.25 whips on that A staff. Those 3 game winners.
Yeah,
Uh, eh, Maybe if it wasn't sub 1.25, it was really close to that. And it's difficult to even make the comparison because the game isn't the same. The rules have obviously changed a lot. Especially in the last couple of years. They didn't reinvent the game completely, but they did change some things that are going to skew some stats. Going forward here, and again, over the last 20 plus years. The way pitchers are handled are different. So the comparison can't be made to an exact extent. But yeah, I'll agree with you. The White Sox starting staff has not been bad. After a little bit of a bumpy start early in the season, a lot of these guys have kind of seemed to find their way some, and you know, it roles have kind of reversed where the bullpen started out a little bit, picking these guys up early on in the season, and now have seemed to kind of falter. Aside from guys like Keenan Middleton and Santos, and a couple of the other guys that are out there that have been solid, but oh, it goes back to what we've been talking about for a while here now. The offense has not been great, although they did put up some numbers here recently, but the big dollars that was spent on the bullpen over the last couple of seasons has really not come to any sort of fruition for the White Sox, with Liam Hendricks missing, you know, quite a bit of time here this season. Kendall Graveman not really, performing. Joe Kelly not really performing. It's just a shame. Yeah, I mean, I see you bobbing your head over there.
I mean,
They're
Joe Kelly
they're
had like a
okay.
0.5 ERA for like a month, a month straight. I mean, you can't blame. I like the thing is that you never have everybody firing at once. Is pretty much been like the
Yeah.
issue, with the pitching, and they're like the bullpen ERA was like one of the tops in the league for quite a while, but then it kind of dropped off again. I mean, if I was going to blame anything about the results of this team on one facet of the game, it would not be on the starting pitching or the bullpen. I mean, we have had some things here and there, where guys have dropped out and not looked good for, like a point of time. But I mean, that offense, man, I like, as Grimtall says here, zero fence. Yeah, offense is a zero. Um, it's just you can't win games if you score 0 or 1 runs. I mean, it's just impossible. Like you could have the best pitching staff in baseball, and 9 times out of 10, if you score 1 or 0 runs, you are going to lose. And they have been doing that, way too much. And like I just, and it's one of those things. Like we've sit here beat our heads against the wall, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with the offense, and it's like, I mean, I don't even have like a legitimate fix for it,
No, no. So let me answer this then. Before we get into, the possibility of the sell-off coming soon, which we spoke a little bit about last week. Last time we recorded, Bob Nightingale surmised a little bit that the sell-off could start as early as last week, and it hasn't really come to that point yet. But inevitably it's on its way. We feel like anyway, regardless of Pedro Grafal coming out and making comments like, well, maybe something will happen and maybe it won't. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious, for that, little sound bite there. But uh it feels like it's going to come. So if some of these veteran players that were brought up in the past are shipped out somewhere else, do you feel, and I'm going to go right back to the Moneyball reference, and the trading of a particular rookie, all-star rookie first baseman in that game, or in that movie. Do you feel like maybe some moves of in a different way, getting rid of these veteran players that have maybe some issues with the White Sox organization, maybe having that dark cloud hanging over their heads, a little bit of a bad attitude and bad energy in the clubhouse? Could you see a little bit of a turnaround in the second half, having some of these guys shipped out? And this is all, going on. Obviously, we don't really know what's happening in the clubhouse. But what are
Well,
your thoughts?
I so here's the thing, right? Is that the thing that everybody's looking for is starting pitching and bullpen help. And the thing is that if the White Sox ship out Lance Lynn. They ship out, Giolito or Cease. Um, and Keenan Middleton and Santos, and assuming that Kelly comes back healthy here, that he's going to get shipped off as well. I mean, I don't see, regardless of whether the offense finds themselves at this point, I don't know that it's really going to matter, because if you ship out all of that pitching, and I mean, it's the targets that other teams are going to want. They're not going to want, Kopech. They're not going to want Jesse Schultens. They're going to be looking for, the top guys. And if you ship those guys out, this team's dead in the water.
Right, absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. The reason I even brought that up is I did see that idea kind of thrown around a little bit, only here and there, but I thought it was kind of obvious that if you make those holes in the pitching staff, this team is going to fall flat on its face, because obviously the offense has just not been there all season. And now you're going to take away what does work from the White Sox. They're not going to get any better. So I figured I'd just throw that question out to you. And you answered it pretty much exactly the way I figured you would.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Is that you could, say you shipped off, I mean, Eloy's hurt again, so you're probably not going to trade him, unless he gets back to being healthy. He's got a groin issue, trying to run out a double play, and now he's got a groin issue out for like 4 or 5 days. So, and stop me if you heard this before, but he's not going on the IL, because it's only going to be like half the amount of time. So he's not going on the IL.
White
so they're just going
player hurting a leg running to first base. I feel like maybe I've heard that before.
Yeah, and eating up a roster spot, because he won't go on the IL, and they won't put him on the IL because it's only 4 or 5 days. Well, yeah,
sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's like this whole story for like the last like calendar year is that they can't send anybody to the IL because you don't want to. I don't even know why. Like, what purpose does this serve?
I really don't know. We start the clock on these guys. We start the clock on these guys in the minor leagues. So, guys that are in AA because they are holding a 40-man spot, to bring them up to, I don't know, have 3 or 4 at bats over a 2-week period and a pinch run.
A pinch run and an appearance at second base. That's all Popeye
play the field for a couple innings. It's kind of ridiculous. Why did we bother to start the clock? And now when the opportunity for someone to come up and actually play for, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks, if we are going to start the clock, we're just going to hold on to Eloy while he hobbles. Probably, I'm guessing bring him back, like you say, if it's going to be a 3-4 day thing, we're not going to put him on the IL. We're going to bring him back while he's still probably not 100%, because let's be honest, a groin doesn't just magically heal up in 2 days.
Magical groin.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense to me either.
Yeah, so
these people get paid a lot of money to make those decisions.
I mean, there is the retroactive thing. You can put somebody on the IL retroactively if they haven't played. You do that, and then you give the guy a week, and then he's got a day to sit around. Saying, if we're talking about Eloy here, he's got a day to sit around, and then he's back active, if that's enough. But playing a man short when you've been struggling on offense, and people have made comments about Pedro Grifol doing weird things, pinch hitting and pinch running, and getting defensively worse because of the way he's been deploying his players. So you end up going into the 9th inning tied, but you've got a much worse defense on the field. And, this just helps that along, is at least give him a useful piece for 4 or 5 days. Like giving him less people that are available on his roster is not going to help anybody on the team. I mean, granted, at this point, are we, is the front office even worried about it? Because I'm pretty sure that they just got the idea that they're just going to sell.
Well, and that's, the other side of that coin too. When you bring up the front offices, there's a lot of speculation going on out there right now that maybe Pedro Grafal and his coaching staff aren't in full control of what's going on the field and with those moves and the guys that he's using on a daily basis, because we're seeing some of the same mistakes and some of the same head scratching moves that have happened over the last 2 seasons with Tony La Russa. And there's, it's obviously speculation, but there is that kind of feeling that something's going on behind the scenes that's kind of tying the manager's hands, because there's no real explanation for what we're seeing some of the time. And I don't know. Maybe it is just poor management.
I mean, it could be,
Maybe
or it
it's
could
poor
be like
coaching.
that Ozzie Guillen thing where he's like, well, or technically the reverse of what Art Howe did is, regardless of what you're telling me, I'm going to start these guys because they're available. But maybe the Ozzie Guillen Kenny Williams thing is well, you're populating my roster with these guys, so I'm just going to keep on playing them until you get rid of them because they're terrible. I mean, that could be something as well. I mean, like, I would like to think, because he's a first year manager, that he's not going to go and pull something like that. But who knows?
Yeah, you would think that. I mean, here's a guy who's trying to establish himself and probably continue his career as a manager. And right now, he's not making a very good name for himself. I could, see a one and done. It's very possible. I don't know that it's going to happen. If we look at the history of the White Sox, but Charlie Montoya was sitting there on the bench with him. But I digress. Let's just say, in the case that he is a one and done manager, I don't see anybody really, any of these other teams kind of, chomping at the bit to get their shot at Pedro Grafal, the manager.
Yeah, well, no, and I don't see anybody, other than trying to find somebody that's desperate for their first managerial job. Thinking that they can do a better job than Pedro did. Trying to beat down the door and get in here as the
Right.
manager either. I mean, it's probably going to be, when you've got a team this bad, you're not going to get. Hold on 1 second. Totally thought I was going to sneeze and I didn't. So
Okay.
I if you are trying to get this club on the winning path and you have somebody. How are the Sox doing? Juki Hollick, the White Sox are not doing well. Although they won 2 out of their last 3, so there is that against the best team in baseball. But I don't see. Like, one of the things that was like a big allure for Tony La Russa was that it was a quote unquote very talented roster with a ton of potential. It had just gone to the playoffs, and this is what he was like. Okay, well, most managers, you come into a place and you have to start from the bottom and build the team up. This one's a finished product, and the first year it kind of looked like a finished product for the first half of the year. The second half, not so much. But then the second year, it was 500 ball. And then this year, after they got rid of TLR, you know, we're like 15 under right now. So are you going to be able to get a top flight manager to come in and do this, especially if you start selling off pieces? I think that that's probably going to be a difficult thing if they do get rid of him.
Yeah, I again, I have to agree. Who's going to want to come in and It's maybe it's not even the fact that potential managers are they might not be scoreboard watching and record watching with the White Sox. They might be watching what's going on in the organization. How can a ball club that was touted as being so, potentially powerful on paper fall flat on its face? And I think high caliber managerial candidates would look at that and say there's got to be an organizational dysfunction. So, why would anybody want to come here and take that job unless they were throwing buckets on top of buckets of money at that manager? And then, maybe somebody say, well, if we suck, at least I'm getting paid.
Yeah, I would have to. That would be a. I'd have to think long and hard about who they could possibly get that would be desperate enough to come here and deal with this nonsense. I mean, between the, you know, ridiculousness of not wanting to pay a player to, you know, possibly getting their hands in the lineup stuff and who you're going to play and whatever. Like I don't know. That's a difficult one. So have you seen this thing floated out there where um, I know James Fox has mentioned it. I had thought about it at previous times as well. If Dylan Cease is a Scott Boras guy,
Yes.
and you know how that whole thing's going to go with
Yes.
Scott Boras. I mean, regardless of whether he likes it here or not, he's still going to free agency and he's still going to get a boatload of money. And I mean, I have no confidence and certainly don't have a previous track record to suggest that the White Sox are going to actually pay a Dylan Cease what he's worth to keep him around. So
Agreed.
the thing has been, floated out there that Dylan Cease should be traded because that's the guy that you are going to get the most return for because of the control left on his contract. And if this thing's getting blown up, is it worth keeping him around for an extra 2 years when you know that for the next 2 years the team's probably not going to be competitive?
I mean, I would kind of have to say probably not. For all the reasons that you brought up. He obviously isn't the pitcher that he was last year, but he has not been bad by any means. Um, it's and you got to think that a guy that was in the top three in Cy Young votes last year, uh, is probably maybe just having a little bit of an off season and would potentially come around again next season and the following while he's still under this original contract. You got to think that somebody out there is going to pay dearly to have them on their roster, and it's not going to be the White Sox, just like you say. So, why not get back? You probably will get a boatload for him in return, and you can probably get MLB or near MLB ready talent as well. So, you might be able to get a handful of decent prospects. You might be able to get an MLB player or near MLB player. Uh, I, I I honestly have to say it. I'd be fielding any calls if I was a GM. And we've said this before too. Any GM worth his salt is listening to any offer out there, regardless if you're telling the media that this guy's untouchable or that guy's untouchable. We're not trading this. We're not trading that. We're not even listening to calls. Well, and when I hear that one, we're not even talking to anybody about this. We're not listening. I'm saying, why not? Why not? Because you got to take everything into consideration. If somebody's going to make you an offer you can't refuse, well, then you got to pull that trigger, right? So, you know, if a team like, say, you know, teams like the Reds, uh, the Yankees, um, the Mets, the teams, some of those, a lot, the Dodgers, some of these teams with the big payrolls that you know, have to they almost have to try to appease their fan base after spending, north of the luxury tax thresholds to try to buy a championship and have now kind of fell off and are not really doing what was expected. You almost think that these teams are going to probably start bidding wars for some of the better trade pieces. And I think maybe that's why the White Sox uh they've kind of stalled in their trade talks. So, Bob Nightingale again saying that last week that it could have been starting as early as then, but you would think that all these names have been thrown around in the White Sox pitching staff not being gone yet and having the amount of teams mentioned around them is because there possibly is a bidding war. So there might be some big pieces coming back, and I personally would trade Dylan Cease if the price was right.
Yeah, I saw a mock trade. It said Giolito and Cease for Jackson Holiday. I said yes immediately because this team's
Okay.
not going anywhere, and he's one of those guys that's a possible generational talent. I've watched the kid play a lot. I watched him play with the um, Delmarva Shorebirds against the Ballers. I watched him play for the Aberdeen Ironbirds against the Dash, and I think he got promoted to Double A if I remember correctly. So, I mean, he just keeps. I mean, he's just going through the system quickly, and he hasn't
Right.
stopped hitting. And
Right. Yeah, he could be to the White Sox what Mike Trout is to the Angels.
I
At
mean,
least
could
he's somebody that I'm just saying potentially he could be. Uh and I say that because, generational talent, possibility generational talent. There's also the possibility that he never sees a lengthy postseason.
that? Oh, well, yeah. Did you happen to see that Jay Kuda tweet where it was like, "Have you been under 500 since 2018?" And it's like got like a bunch of teams over here on the left, and it says no, and on the right it says yes, and it's got like Detroit and who is it? Detroit and Kansas City and the Angels or something like that, and then it says, "Did you have Shohei and Mike Trout?" It says no, and it's got Detroit and the Royals or whoever, and then on the other side it says yes, and just the Angels just sitting there. It's lovely
Yeah,
troll.
it is. But I mean, there's a lot of truth. It's all truth, honestly. So, but yes, fantastic troll.
Did you see the Garfine podcast fans take over? I did. I did listen to them. One of them I listened to, and the other one like I had on, and I was in and out on that one. But we're not doing poems if that's what you're asking for. No poems on here. This is a no poetry podcast / stream.
No poetry zone.
Yeah. The point about no skyscrapers was a rock solid point. Uh, you'd have to refresh my memory on skyscrapers.
Yeah,
I would assume it'd be like top talent. I mean, so you say that you'll listen to that they didn't sign a big guy and it forced Eloy. Yeah, okay. So it was mentioned that the other guys had to try and step up and be the man because the man was never signed in free agency. Like it was told to us numerous times that the money will be spent and we will do that. And instead of doing that, they
like
ex-
no Manny
extended all those guys and
Mazzara Machado.
yeah, yeah, Yonder Alonso and
Oh, I'm
John
sorry,
Jay.
Alonso. Yeah, yeah. Yonder Alonso and John Jay.
Yeah,
Boy, wow.
to step up and they weren't ready. Yeah, no. So bringing up a guy like Robert, who is actually the guy who is stepping up, are you listening to trade offers on him?
Again, I mean, you kind of have to. You at least have to pick up the phone and hear what the other guy on the other end has to say. Um, he is potentially generational talent if he can stay healthy. And we are seeing what a mostly healthy Luis Robert can do this season. And that's been pretty much the most exciting thing that we can watch here in the South Side this year. So it's a tough one, obviously, because it is the only thing kind of keeping us, feeling like we have something to watch. But at the same time, you have to kind of, you got to do your due diligence and see what, teams are offering. Uh, I'm probably going to get jumped on for saying something like that, but you got to answer the phone. At least have the conversation. If it's not something that you feel like is a fair return, fine, hang up the phone. We're done talking here. But that's another one of those guys where it's going to take a lot to pry him away. And if somebody's going to give you that a lot, whatever that amount of a lot is that you decide it is, well, why not? I'm not married to anything on this White Sox team right now. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think anybody is untouchable. And like you say, it looks like they're going to be bad for at least the next couple of years. Unless Jerry opens up the purse string Cohen style, which we know is never going to happen. Uh they're going to be bad for a while. So why not? Let's tank all over again. Let's get some high draft picks. Let's see what the new scouting department head can do. And, if we can get a couple of the other top prospects and pry them away from other teams, why not? Screw it. That's really why I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted, and I'm not married to anybody on this team. So yeah, I am. I am listening. What do you think? What's your thoughts on Luis Robert and potential trade candidates?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think anybody is going to give value for Luis Robert. I think that they could give us, say the Dodgers were, I mean, I don't think that they would trade for, offer for Luis Robert, but I mean, say that they did and they were going to give us like, I don't know, three of their top 100 draft picks, or not, three of their top 100 prospects, not draft picks. They were going to do that. I still, it's like Diego Cartaya and a couple of other guys. Like the thing is that yes, potentially the White Sox could, quote unquote, fleece the Dodgers in a deal like that. But the thing is that regardless of whether you get three top 100 prospects from them, there's no guarantee that any one of them is going to be able to give you any kind of semblance of the results that Luis Robert is going to give you,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that either. I'm just saying if obviously is if I'm gonna play armchair GM, I'm setting that bar high, right? And of course, that bar being high might be the one thing that keeps him from going somewhere. Because he has had that injury history. He hasn't had that full season of being Luis
That's the
Robert.
one
So
thing is the health. Is that you wonder if the health can consistently keep him in a place where he can put up these kind of results year after year, just because you don't know if his hamstrings are going to go out. And Ladder Enjoyer says no one has enough to make Luis Robert Jr. worth trading. You just be hoping for a prospect that might be 75% as good as him in 5 years. And that's what I'm saying is that, I mean, I guess if somebody calls, you're going to listen to what they say. But I mean, realistically, what are they going to give you that you're going to jump at? I mean, I guess if you were to
right.
say like the Orioles were going to give us like their top like 4 prospects or something, maybe you would think about it just because Jackson Holliday's in there, and then there's a couple other guys that are guys in there.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, Grimtal says
Yeah,
he's
it's
the
difficult
Mike
though.
Trout type you were talking about, and that's exactly it.
He is. He very well could be. And, that's without even pointing out that the first half of the season, he's in the same types of conversations that we've seen about Frank Thomas, that we've seen about Jim Thome, Paul Konerko, those types of numbers in the first half of the season where he's putting up 22, 23, 24 home runs before the All-Star break and, the RBIs. And, the first couple months of the season, he made some, ridiculous circus catches. And, people were, shooing him in for the gold glove after the first 10 games of baseball this season. He very well could be that Mike Trout type player. And, unfortunately, if the Sox do find a way to keep him around for as long as Mike Trout has stayed with the Angels, he could be in the same boat as Mike Trout, where he is that generational talent, doesn't really see this as, a long, sustained playoff run.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate. We hope that turns around, but as White Sox fans, we've been jaded for way too long.
yeah, and like the thing is that it's I know that the Angels have made a they've been made a punchline because they've had Otani and Trout and haven't managed to be able to do anything with it. But I mean, it's not like they haven't tried to do some things. They've tried to do a few things, and it's just like every time they do it, I mean, like I don't know what they were thinking signing Pujols, to what was that, a 10-year deal or whatever when he was like 35 or something like that. Like, what are you guys doing? I mean, they've done a bunch of dumb things, but I mean, like they've, like the Anthony Rendon thing. I mean, the guy hasn't been healthy, I think, for not one season since he got signed. After playing like 100, I think it was like 145 plus games every year in Washington, and then he comes over to the Angels, and the guy can't play 100 games a year. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, which is unfortunate because when he was with the Nets, I mean, he was a special talent. He was that generational talent and a lot of fun. Just, exciting, explosive kind of young ball player. And, you hope that that kind of thing doesn't happen here in the South Side with Luis. But, just going back to the original question that gets us here is I'm just one of those people that drives me nuts. That quote, "We're not fielding calls. This guy is untouchable." I feel like you're not doing your job as a GM if even fielding calls, if you're not listening. Maybe those are those quotes that are kind of being, flipped out there to the media to let the other GMs know and the other organizations know. Well, yeah, okay, well, I'll take your call, but you better come correct when you do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. They're bringing up Jerry Dipoto in the chat, the Angels
Oh,
GM who went to Seattle afterwards. Yeah, that guy loves to do a deal, and he loves to spend money. And funny, like a bunch of stuff that he's done in Seattle hasn't worked out. Although I will say the Luis Castillo thing has worked out pretty well for them, and they did make a run last year. But
I was say they've been playing better baseball the last couple of seasons than they have in a long time.
yeah, that's true. Um, yeah. So anywho, um, so the White Sox have signed, I believe, it's either 17 or 18 of their draft picks from the draft.
Seems awful quick, doesn't it? Too. Usually there's a handful of those, top and mid slot holdouts. Take them a little bit to sign. No,
Yeah,
am I wrong in that feeling?
trying to think of who they have not signed. I can't remember off the top of my head who they have not signed, but I could have swore that it was yeah, White Sox have agreed to 17 of their 20 selections from the draft. And that was as of yesterday. And I thought that I saw that somebody else signed. Somebody else
Yeah,
signed today.
today. What's his name?
Is it Calvin
The young
Harris?
kid.
No, that was yesterday.
No, The young Hispanic kid. Oh Lord. See, now I got to get on the interwebs right in the middle of the show here because I'm ding dong, and I cannot remember his name whatsoever. Oh Lord, here we go. Of course.
Well, anyway, yeah, they signed most of their picks. I don't know. We'll see. I know that they're all headed out to Arizona to do all their physicals and all that stuff. Um, the third day of the draft. Did you have any thoughts on the third day of the draft at all?
No, not really. No. To be quite frank with you, I really didn't even recognize most of the guys in the third day of the draft, like we had talked about. The first 10 rounds or so. The last handful of picks, I didn't even really do any follow up on, to be completely honest. I'm sorry, it was Jacob Gonzalez.
Oh
Wow,
yeah,
how did
the
I forget
first
that
round
guy's
pick.
name?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I guess that was yesterday that he signed. So
yeah, um, yeah. I mean, there's some interesting names in the third day of the draft, and there's some skill sets there. Um, but the thing is that the majority of the splashy stuff was in the first 2 days for sure. But I mean, I think that they've got some things to they got some pitching in there. They drafted quite a bit of left-handed pitching this year. Lots of left-handed hitting. I think they drafted one right-handed hitter um, in the entire draft. Everybody else was left-handed.
yeah,
Um,
that's pretty wild.
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Um, it's like you look at the oh yeah, well 25 total signings. Yeah, they signed I think 6 undrafted free
Yeah,
agents or
undrafted
something.
guys. Hmm.
5 undrafted free agents. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is that I didn't know quite a few of the names that got drafted last year, and here they are putting up good numbers in Kannapolis and getting bumped up to Winston Salem, and so what am I gonna say? Because what I think, it's like most of these people, the armchair GMs just sit there and cry about the draft and act like they know exactly who all these guys are. I mean, I guess they,
Right.
like through the
Yeah.
first 2 rounds, they're like, oh yeah, I know that guy, I know that guy. It's like if you sit here and redo that stuff, it's like, you know,
Okay.
whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm of the wait and see variety kind of guy. I'm not going to judge this draft until you know I see until I get my eyes on them and I see exactly what I'm looking at. You know?
Right, but to your point, if last year was any indication of what's possible for this year's draft class, we might be in for a treat. Like you said, there was a handful of guys that nobody even knew who they were. Nobody had ever really heard much about them, and here they are. They're performing, albeit at the lower levels. But if they continue to do those things, could be it could be something for us Sox fans to kind of keep an eye on. And if this ball club's going to be bad, the MLB club's going to be bad for a while. Maybe we can kind of look towards the future a little bit. And you and I are already pretty into you, especially are more into the minor leagues than a lot of folks out there. Especially the casual fan. So we kind of enjoy. I do more stat watching than I do, game watching like you do. But you're out here watching all these games, and thank you for that, by the way, and keeping us, the rest of us, honest with, our assessments because, as you say, there's a lot of people out there that are going to make those assessments and throw them out there on the interwebs for all to see. But, you know, if we have nothing else to hang our hat on, we have at least that.
Yeah. I got told on Twitter the other day that there are too many 23, 24, and 25-year-olds in uh, the low minors for the White Sox, and we should just DFA all of them.
Is that right?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that
So
right?
I was
We're
like,
we're we're not even looking at stats anymore.
yeah, it didn't matter. It's just that the fact that they're 23 or 24 or 25, and I was like thinking to myself, 85% of these guys that you're complaining about, this is their first year, either A, out of college, or B, like coming to a full season affiliate, and you're just gonna cut
Right.
them loose. I get it. The age is up there, and that's a bummer. But I mean,
Yeah, but you don't want to even see what the potential is. Like at least give them a seat, a little bit of time to say, okay, well, maybe we were wrong, but
yeah, nope, just DFA them.
oh,
Get
it
rid of them.
reminds me of here we go again with them. I'm just on a Moneyball kick today, but that the scene in the middle of the movie where old Brad Pitt's on the horn with a bunch of GMs and he's looking for a name to throw out there. That's puts one of the managers or one of the other GMs on. It's like, what's his name? So and so. 27 and a double A. Now, yeah, I don't know. I don't disagree that some of those guys are up there in age
Yeah,
in
for sure.
comparison
Yeah,
to, the guys they're facing and playing against. But let's at least see what they got. If they fail, they fail. They're not. It's not like they're making a ton of money, And until now, with the draft happening, you're not really holding anybody back. A lot of these draft picks are going to go play fall ball, and maybe even some of them will play down in the DR summer league and whatever. So there's still time for these guys to get their reps in.
yeah. Like I'll be honest, like most of these guys that are like 23, 24, 25 that are in low A and advanced A. First off, they a couple of them just got drafted out of college, so they're gonna be, a little bit more of an advanced age anyway. But let them play and see what happens. You know, um, these are the kind of guys that you get when you get those big bonus guys. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't understand why anybody's even remotely shocked that any of this stuff happened. Um, so after pitching in the futures game, Jonathan Cannon got bumped up to the Barons, and he made a start on Friday or Saturday, and pitched 4 innings for the Barons. I think he gave up a couple of runs. Um, Looked pretty good. Um, didn't look overmatched, so that's a good thing. 6 pitch mix, as it turns out, works pretty decent everywhere, shockingly.
So
Um,
far.
yeah, and Tristan Stivers and Addison Coffey also got sent to Birmingham from Winston-Salem.
And
So
if
that
you're new here, I just got to say Tristan Stivers is one of my favorite young arms coming up through the system here. He's gonna be he's gonna be a bullpen guy. I don't think he'll ever. Well, I don't know. He's
no,
got some starting
no,
potential actually.
nah, no, that guy's a straight up closer. He can.
Yeah,
He
you
can
think
go
so?
multiple innings,
Yeah.
but
Okay. Well, that's I guess you could stretch him out a little bit. I guess is what I'm saying. But
yeah, you could.
who is he got some filthy stuff,
Yeah,
man.
no,
That
for
guy
sure.
has got some.
Yeah,
I mean, he's dirty. If you haven't seen him, go look him up. Go do a search on him. Find some video that your favorite Ian Eskridge has put up there. But man, whew,
yeah,
he throws some garbage.
yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of, did you see that Noah Schultz slider?
I did. That thing's ridiculous too.
Yeah, if you've not seen that, which at this point I don't know how you wouldn't have seen it because it's got like 200 and something thousand views on Twitter. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that pitch, that slider, this left-handed hit, this poor left-handed hitter just completely turns his back to the pitch because he thinks he's going to get plunked, and then it goes right over the heart of the plate. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it sure was.
Ladder Enjoyer says he's been a fan of Stivers since he threw that 1 inning in spring training. Yeah, that dude's curveball is just gross.
He's got a couple of breaking pitches that they do stay. I mean, sometimes you just look at it and you go, It's not possible. I've never seen anything like it before. When he gets the right spin rate on it, and he doesn't do that every single time, but I mean the curveball is pretty much it's a wipeout curve. But his slider too, when he's on that slider,
Yeah.
it's a thing of beauty. You can't put words to it.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it last year, but you know, what he's been doing so far this year has been a lot of fun. I also need Ben Butel promoted yesterday. .38 ERA, .85 WHIP in Canny. Yeah, Ben Butel is. If you haven't seen him, he's a lefty sidearm guy, and like the thing is that, like the velo is low, middling at best. Like he's one of those guys that you see the velo reports on him, and you're like, meh. Like how good can he be? Well, his release point is just it's nasty. His whole motion is just real tough to pick up, and these poor kids in A are just not having a good time against him. And I
No.
don't know if to speak to those numbers. Yes, they're really good. Will it transfer? I don't know. But then again, Sergio Romo had a career.
This is
Like
true.
guys that you don't think necessarily that should, do that kind of thing. Sometimes they do, and especially these guys that are really hard to pick up. I mean, both of the Rogers brothers, Taylor and Tyler, those guys, both of those guys have funky arm angles, and both of them are, they do pretty well. So, Aaron Wasserman.
Yeah, that delivery was that's one
Uh,
of those funky.
and Moneyball, Chad Bradford.
Oh yeah, Submariner.
Yeah, if we want to bring up Moneyball again, and of course talk about the White Sox and how they don't value Chad Bradford like they should. Wasserman was a walk-on tryout at Birmingham. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. The White Sox going to. Did you see Jake Berger on the MLB Network
Nope.
today? Yeah, he was on the MLB Network. Him and
I'm sorry, man. I told
well,
you at the beginning of
yeah.
the show. I
I've got a
checked out
TV
with.
in front of me at work,
Obvi-
so like,
Yeah, I am not. I'm not that special. I'm running most of the day. I'm
yeah.
on my feet going, and if I'm not running, I'm inside a 4x3 cabinet trying to drill and screw and plumber. I'm playing plumber, electrician, and
Plumber.
yeah, plumber.
Anyway, so
You know,
yeah, so
being an RV service technician puts me in positions where I don't get to see a lot of TV.
yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, just so happens that my job literally puts me in front of TVs all day long. So
Yeah,
yeah, Jake Berger went to the MLB Network studios today and did himself a nice, like, I don't know, he was there for like 25 minutes or something like that. So and it's all on the White Sox front page, and also there's some parts on YouTube that I saw earlier today. Um, anyway, that stuff's fun. It's worth a watch. But White Sox going to play the Mets, and they get to see Carrasco, Verlander, and Jose Quintana.
yay!
Yeah, so um, I mean the Mets have
See
been
if he's
terrible, but not
yeah,
terribler than the White Sox. So
right.
I'm interested to see what they can manage to do against the Mets. Now, I don't expect the Mets to, of course, I don't expect them to just, lay down and let the White Sox pummel them, of course. Um, but I'm hoping just for my own, not that I necessarily, like, I don't care if they win. I just want them to play decent baseball. You know, I want them to be competitive.
Well,
I'm tired of watching, like that first White Sox Braves game. Like I don't want to
oh,
I don't want to see I just don't want to see that over and over again. I don't need to see uh, Saturday and Sunday all the time, but at least give me some 4-3 games. Preferably that they don't blow in the bullpen, just that they come up short on offense, whatever.
preferably that, like Grimtall says, the Mets don't circle this series on their calendar as the one to turn their season around.
I mean, I
You
guess.
know,
I mean,
hey, the Mets have been one of those teams that have been mentioned around White Sox and possible trade potential, but I don't know if that's something we'll see. But
I guess.
people have floated it out there. Maybe we'll see one of those cross locker room moves while the Sox are in town over there. Tell him not to put his uniform on. I don't want him playing against me today.
I mean, they're not going to be hopping anybody in the East unless they, completely do a 180.
I don't think that's
I don't think it's in the cards either. Just like I don't think the White Sox are going to do it. I don't think the Mets are going to do it either.
no,
And especially in that division.
no. That division's much better than the AL Central.
Yeah,
Much.
that's to put it mildly. Yeah. So, you got anything else of import for this particular week coming up?
No, man. I'm ready to get into some baseball card rips. Let's rip
Yeah.
some packs here, man.
For those of you that are unaware, go ahead and bump this over here right quick. Not that quick. Pseudo quick.
No.
There we go. Ooh. There we go. 4 autograph cards per box. Chasing that elusive Colson Montgomery auto card that I can't ever seem to get.
No, because all the other guys that are doing these rips have gotten like 42 of them.
Yeah, the
Can we
Brian
get one? Just one.
Ramos, the Jose Rodriguez, Lenin Sosa. I got Benjamin Bailey.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hey, today's our day.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to grab something to drink here right quick, and then we're going to go ahead and get to that. I guess I should say thank you all who,
Sign
if
off.
if you guys decide to stick around and see what's inside this box. What's in the box? You wait to
What's in
see
the
what's in this
box?
box. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming to hang out and watching and being in the chat at Daily White Sox on Twitter. White Sox Daily. You can search us on Facebook, YouTube. WhiteSoxDaily.substack.com is where you can find this podcast and written articles. I just thank you so much. And, if you're going to dip out, we will catch you guys next week. We're back on the Monday schedules. And I think things have been looking good. I've been testing this thing on the YouTubes here. Streaming it on YouTube's in private just to see if it was going to work out for us, and it looks like it is. So we will be multicasting to different platforms coming up here now in the future. So, if you wanted to watch on YouTube, you could do so. Anyway, I'm going to grab something to drink and come back, and then we're going to start opening some packs.
I'll be here.
All right, cool.
With the chat that has been so gracious to keep us running this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the chat, while Ian goes and runs away, let me get a show of hands on who's going to be sticking around for this rip, because I got a feeling. I got a feeling about this one. We're gonna find some. We're gonna find some winners here. We're gonna get that auto. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller. Bueller. All right. Well, I guess I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs then. You guys don't want to stick around? Nobody wants to talk to Danny. All right then. I guess I'll just sit here and pick my nose. Hey. All right. Ladder's still here. Grimtall better still be here because we didn't even get a good night, gents, or scrubs or goofballs or anything from him. Usually get something. Got into the hobby in part because of a rip we did a couple months ago. So I'm sticking with, yeah, you know what? We have. All right. So here's the thing. We piss and moan about not being able to pull that elusive Colson Montgomery, like Ian has said, but we have had some pretty good results otherwise, just not the White Sox affiliated players that we've been looking for, but some good polls nonetheless. So
Yeah, we've gotten some decent stuff, just not
yeah,
the ones in particular that we were looking for, of course.
no. So well, I guess we can say that we are glad that we could contribute to your delinquency ladder.
All right. There we go. Get the little flippy. All right, let's see what we get here.
All right, let's go. Rip number 1.
Of course it didn't want to go. First one, and it's got to be difficult.
Wow. It could be a good sign.
Maybe, maybe not. We shall see.
I don't know, I'm always looking. Lately I'm looking at the universe for signs here because I'm not getting much else from the White Sox. So
Brandon Bossier. Oh, Bren Davis, who's been out almost all year. Dalen Lyle. Sal Urbina. Sal Frelick. I think we've gotten Sal Frelick.
yeah.
I think we've gotten 2 of his autos from the other series. Nolan Gorman. Jefferson Caro. Good prospect. Jeter Downs. Let go. Just walked for nothing. He was supposed to be his last name or his first name is Jeter, so he was supposed to be really good, and then it didn't work out.
Nope, sure didn't.
I mean, he's okay, but certainly not worthy of the first pick for draft.
No.
Let's see, Hendrik Pinengo, Robert Dominguez, Leover Peguero, Zach Veen, nice. Oh, there we go.
There's an
now,
auto.
Here is this guy, Rickelbin. We've gotten
we've seen him a little bit.
We've gotten an auto of him before. Rickelbin de Castro. All right, well, there's one. Let's see. Jose Miranda.
And a few of those.
Hogland. Yeah. Cooper Kinney. Got an auto of Cooper Kinney in a Bowman set that I ripped.
Yeah, if we were Cubs fans, we would have done all right with some of the picks we pulled.
Yeah,
we're still waiting on that big White Sox pull, though.
Exactly. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Get to see my my fingernail that I got destroyed.
My wallet does not thank you. Hey, again, we're contributing to your delinquency. Now, what you spend is up to you.
Yeah, it's it's just, this hobby is it'll clean
it becomes
out
an addiction, for some, and it does get expensive. So
Michael Triana, Ano Martinez, Colin Burns, Warming Bernabel. Let's skip that one for right now. John Kenzie Noel, McAble, James Triantos, another Cubs prospect. Oh, and we got the nice little pink McAble as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something. It's not anything crazy, but we did get that Jason Dominguez.
Yes, Grimtall. Baseball cards are definitely cheaper than car parts. As somebody who is part of a race team, my wallet does not appreciate me for that. I will definitely back that statement.
Tyler Whitaker, Kevin Made, another Cub, Matt McClain, Little Adrian Beltre action. Don't touch his head.
Don't.
Austin Wells, Nick Gonzalez just came up. Jordan Wicks, who just got bumped up to AAA. Real good left-handed pitcher for the Cubs. Connor Norby, who's one of the top prospects for the Orioles currently. Good player. He's one of those guys that if you're going to get a trade with the Orioles, he might be one of those guys that
you're looking for
that you see coming back. Yeah.
Well, you're hoping anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're hoping for some good stuff from them. They got so many prospects. It's ridiculous.
They do.
Oh, Ed Howard. Look at that. Ex-Ace player. Oh, PCA, my favorite guy.
Oh, I can't hear enough about him, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Ellie Dela Cruz, brick by brick card. That's a nice one.
Decent card.
Yeah. Noah Miller with the Twins. Luis Matos. Christian Franklin, another Cub for crying out loud. TJ White. I mean,
how many Cub players have we pulled so far, and not a single White Sox card?
I think we got 10 Cubs players so far, ish, somewhere around there. Almost hit double digits, if not.
Not a single White Sox affiliate player.
Oslavis Basabe, this guy right here, that guy's a guy to keep an eye on. Weird name. He's the good Basabe.
Right.
Hashtag play badly for Adley. Diego Velasquez. Dale Amador. Ian Muller. Noel V. Marte. Noel V. Marte is actually, he's the guy that Jonathan Cannon struck out at the Future Stars game.
The Future Stars game, yeah.
Carter Jensen and Brett Beatty. Did you happen to see that play the other day that Brett Beatty, he was at third for the Mets, and it was a pop-up in the infield, and he was chasing after it, and it started off in foul territory, but he ended up in fair territory, like almost where the shortstop plays, and then it bounced up and hit him in the face?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeesh.
Not the best look.
No, you got to feel bad for a guy like that. Justin Foscue, good Rangers prospect.
Yeah.
There we go. Got ourselves a Colson Montgomery, non-auto, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Why would it be an auto? Hunter Goodman, Pedro Pineda, Matt Frazier. There's Jason Dominguez. I should probably move my hand here so it's a little bit better in there. Jason Dominguez. Alex Ramirez, not Alexi Ramirez, but and there we go. Oscar Colas, Winston-Salem.
Oscar Colas.
That is my first Oscar Colas I've gotten from any of these boxes that we've opened.
Would have been better if it was an auto, but we'll take it.
Sure would be. There is this. What is it? It's the Bowman Inception series. And they have one of the big hits in that series is the Oscar Colas relic card that comes with his pieces of his jersey in it. That card is awesome. Khalil Watson, Robert. I don't even know how to spell it. Pedro Leon. Well, there we go. George Valera.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Akron Rubber Ducks. I don't know much about him. That's gonna be a guy I'm gonna have to take a look at him because I don't know much about him. TBH.
So I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a Cleveland Guardians guy. So
of course, we get Cubs and Indians players or Guardians, players.
Christian Santana, Esteban Machado. Oh, there's Uelke. Who's roughly batting around 200 right now.
Yeah, half brother of Yoenis.
Yeah, his I will say his His walk numbers are up quite a bit this year, but unfortunately, that batting average has just been, yeesh. Yeah, that Inception dual relic. Oh
Doo
man, that
doo.
thing's beautiful. And it's like one of those things. I think the Inception box is like $270 or something like that.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that, and
Yeah,
I actually had to stop myself because
yeah,
moving into campgrounds is expensive. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie, dude. There's a lot of stuff I didn't have before, and a lot of things I want to do that
Yep. Poor Andrew
the golf
Painter.
cart.
Probably. I don't know if it's definite yet, but that kid's probably having Tommy John here coming up soon.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Yeah, sure does. Josh Baez, Jordan Vyers. A little Heston Kjerstad action. Green parallel. You love to see
Steve's
it.
card.
Yeah. Francisco Alvarez. Alvaro. What's it? Aloe Vera? Yeah, Errol Vera. Max Ferguson and Tyler Black.
Yeah.
Eh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Meh. Take that Heston Kjerstad, though. That's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice card. Might fetch you 50, 75 cents, $1 here.
Exactly. John Rhodes, Jordan McCants, Bubba Chandler, Blaze Jordan. Oh, look at that. Now, what is the deal with this dude? All right? Sal Frelick. Like, I've got every single variation of a card of this dude that you could possibly get. I don't want any of them. Aaron Zavala, Indy Rodriguez, and Jake Fox.
Sal Frelick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that he's not a bad prospect per se. I mean, he's just not.
No, but he's not like a monster.
No. And it makes you wonder, like, why does he have all these different variations of cards too? I don't get it. Brainer Bonacci. Henry Davis action. Got him on both of my fantasy teams, by the way. Love it.
Yeah, nice.
Jackson
You got
Merrill.
a dynasty team?
I do not know.
No.
Like White Sox.
I mean, we're just go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, White Sox Daily. We had a fantasy thing with the original one. Oh, it's got that Roger Clemens action.
Yeah, we started that
Fun.
dynasty league, and it kind of fizzled after
Everybody
they
left. Yes.
folded. Yeah,
Joe Mack.
that was the original dugout.
Michael Escoto. Yeah, the original dugout thing that.
And we were the north side and south side versions of the dugout, the Chicago dugout. So yeah, that was fun, and a bunch of us had some, some pretty high name young rookies and prospects that we were going to keep around for dynasty leagues. So it was unfortunate that fell apart.
So Brian Rocchio.
If I'm not mistaken, I had a couple of those young guys who are now doing quite well for themselves.
Yeah, Canario just got moved up to AAA for the Cubs as well. He's actually, it looks like he might be some. Grayson Rodriguez just got brought back up to the Orioles the other day. Got ourselves a little Ellie De La Cruz action here. If I could find an Ellie De La Cruz auto in here, I would be pretty stoked.
Yeah, I would too. That kid looks like he's gonna. There's another one that looks already like he could be generational.
Yeah, that kid. He had the hardest infield throw ever registered the other day, 97 miles an hour. Although I will say, I think O'Neal Cruz could certainly challenge that. That dude's got a cannon on him. Jordan Lawler, that's a player right there. That kid's gonna be good. Oh, Rickelbin. Another Heston Kjerstad, the regular one. Ryan Holgate. George Valera, brick by brick. Anthony Volpe.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those.
Yeah, overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Another guy who just got called up. Christian Encarnacion Strand just got called up the other day. Who knows? Maybe that'll be something awesome in the future.
It's possible.
You never know.
Never, never.
Deshaun Knowles. I wonder if he's probably not related to Beyonce.
Bay once.
Averson Arteaga. A little Shea Langoliers action. Hedbert Perez. Matthew Nelson. Dario Lorenzo. Dario Lopez. Diego Cartaya. Names that I hear all the time watching the White Sox minor league teams. Max Muncy, not that one. This one. Ezequiel Tovar, Yaswar Garcia, Denzel Clark. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Jackson Merrill. I believe Jackson Merrill, if I remember correctly, Jackson Merrill was one of the guys in one of the Padres deals here recently, but I can't remember which one. He's definitely involved in some trade here recently. At the beginning, before last year, or maybe
sounds right.
During the trade deadline last year. JT Schwartz, Jairo Pons, Luis Angel Acuna, Ronnie's little brother. The Down East Wood Ducks, the guys with no cameras,
that's
bane of my existence.
Minor league systems with no cameras.
Yeah, the good one is that the Asheville Tourists
excuse me,
they got $20 million from Asheville, so they are going to do a bunch of renovations on their stadium before next year, I think. So they should have cameras next year.
I mean, throw a camcorder up behind home plate for something, you know?
Seriously, drives me up a wall.
Somebody in that system's got Delgado. One sitting in their sitting in a closet collecting dust somewhere, right?
Carlos Delgado in his catcher's gear. How do you like that?
Wow, that's something.
Cody Morissette. Will Bednar. Oh, well, you know,
he's a decent player.
Yep. I'm just happy that I actually got a Colas. I mean, it's not one of the ones that I technically wanted because it's just a regular old Oscar Colas. But, you know, after having not gotten one out of like 5 boxes of cards,
right,
I'll take the one that I can get. Johan Rojas, Reginald Preciado, Michael McGreevy,
Cubs.
Alan Serda, pink variant. Take that. Nelson Velasquez, another Cub. Jose Salas, Nick York, Malcolm Nunez. All right, so we're about little over halfway here. Let's see what we get. We got one more guaranteed auto in this box.
That doesn't mean we can't pull 2 more.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Let's hope that we are lucky enough to do something like that. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I actually seen the Card Guys. What is it? I think that's the name of their show. Just the Card Guys. Have you heard of them? Oh, yeah, another Cubs player.
The Card Guys? No, I have not.
I think maybe I'm getting the name wrong.
The guy that I generally watch is Jabs. He's on YouTube. He's good. He's always on there.
These guys were on Twitch. Who I was watching. I want to say it's called the Card Guys. I could be getting a name wrong, but I've seen them pull 5 autos twice.
Eggy. This guy's name is pronounced Eggy.
Yeah.
Eggy Rosario. So I have to say, this new camera angle and
Yeah,
the
much better.
moving the
Working out
camera,
fantastic.
big W.
Yeah,
Certainly a
I'm really digging.
much better setup. I still have, oh, look at that. Little Brian Ramos action.
All right, take
Yeah,
it.
take that.
I really want one of those blue Ballers jerseys.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still waiting. There's Corbin Carroll. Oh,
There
and
you go.
look who it is. Kevin Made, who is
Cubbies.
a Pelican, who is a single or a single A
Advanced A, isn't it?
stinking.
Advanced A Cubs.
Yeah, maybe it is advanced A.
Or is it low A? Let me take a look.
Let's see here. It is low A.
Low A.
Yeah, but again, another stinking Cub auto. I think that might even be the second Kevin Made one I've gotten. Little Colton Cowser, Edgar Caro, and JJ Bleday. Man. So, a Guardian and a Cub. Perfect.
Yeah. Just no luck.
Yep.
Not in the stars.
Josh Jung. Let's see here. What's the best way I can do to get this thing to focus? Oh, there we go.
All right.
Little West Cath action. Take that.
Take that. Yeah, absolutely.
Ian Lewis, Freddie Valdez, Benny Montgomery, Jorbert Vivas, Marcelo Mayer. Yeah, I'm happy about this setup I got going here now. I gotta say, I do need to I do want to like still tweak it, but this is like 100 times better than it was last time. And after last time, like I was so aggravated with how it looked that I was like, I gotta do something for next time I do it because I can't look at it like that. Oh, another Ramos. All right, I'll take it, I guess. Tristan Casas, Robert Hassel, Adrian Del Castillo, Harry Ford, Ethan Wilson, Brady House. Coming down to the end here. I don't think we're going to get another one, but you never know.
You never know.
You never know. Oh, a little Alec Thomas action.
I'll take that.
Come on, let's go.
There it is.
Anytime.
Oh,
there we go.
There it is.
Reno Aces. Solomino. Torres. Jordan Lawler. Samara
All right.
Taylor. Stin Martin. Ryan Spikes.
Come on, let's get the rare 5 auto pull here.
Got 2 packs left in this box, and then I bought 2 additional packs just because. Right. So we'll see. Maybe even if we don't get an auto in one of these last 2 packs, in the other 2 packs that are bonus packs, maybe there's something in there. Alejandro P.A. Riley Green.
Is he any relation to Felix?
P.A.?
You know, yeah.
No. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
That? You remember all the hype around that guy?
I do, yeah. He was supposed to be awesome, and he was not.
No.
George Valera. Oh, a little Neon Dion action.
Neon Dion. What?
Milcar Perez. Isaac Pacheco.
Prime time.
Last pack of the box.
Let's go.
Get some last pack heat here. Let's hope. Garrett Mitchell.
Excuse me. It's not a bad card.
Kyle Manzardo, Jalen Palmer, Cal Conley, Pedro Leon, brick by brick, Cameron Cawley, Jose Ramos, and Jordan Groshans.
Went. All right, bonus packs.
Moving
We're
along.
We're holding out hope.
Holding out hope for a 5th auto. We'll see.
Man, at this point, I'd take any White Sox auto.
Well, you say that, but if I get Elijah Tatis, I'm going to be cross with you. I'm just going to say right now.
Okay. All right.
Jordan Lawler. Oh, Rickelben. Good. Heston Kjerstad. Liover Peguero. Brick by brick. Aloe Vera. Max Ferguson. Tyler Black. And Anthony Volpe. All right. This is the true last pack.
I feel like we pull like 40 Rickelbens and 40 Anthony Volpes like every time we do this.
Rickelben. Yeah. Ladder Enjoyer says Elijah Tatis incoming. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Roberto Campos. Deshaun Knowles. Everson Arteaga. Shea Langoliers. CJ Rodriguez. Michael Escoto. Matthew Nelson. And Dari Lorenzo. No 5th auto, unfortunately. But, we did get some, we got some decent stuff. We got some White Sox stuff.
Hey, I mean, you pulled your first Oscar Colas card out of any of these boxes. So, I mean, you take the wins where you can get them. A couple of decent brick by brick cards. A couple of decent pink variants. So,
yeah, I mean,
a couple of autos that you don't know anything about.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Oh boy.
Exactly. And like the thing is like, I mean, I don't really. I'll sit here and keep on opening these packs, and eventually, I'll get something that I've been waiting for. Little UL game.
You would think.
Eventually, I'll get it. Oscar Colas action. Let's see. Let's do this. There we go. Boom. There we go. There's the there's our White Sox for
Colson.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I did not see Cole Tony in the chat tonight. What's going on?
I don't know. He's downstairs. Who knows what he's doing? He's probably playing MLB The Show with his
gaming.
Yeah, he's you know how that goes.
Yeah, I do.
He's playing MLB Show with his buddy.
It's too cool to hang out with Dad and his goofy stream partner.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Well, there we go. There it is. So I don't know. Probably get some more at some point. Do some sort of box rip at some point.
Yeah, you know what? It's always fun. We might not be pulling, what we're hoping for, but still a good time.
Yes, indeed. So, anywho, well, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for hanging out through the box rip, and we'll, like I said, we'll do this again for sure. There's no way I'm not gonna do it. So next week, we have Nick Morawski of Locked On Sox and Good Guys Talk Back. He'll be on here, and with me and Danny, and it'll be on Monday next week. So that'll be a good time.
Always a good time with Nick.
Yeah, he's one of our favorite people over here. So yeah, we'll have him on, and we'll have a good time, and everything will be good. Yeah, so until next week, next Monday, my name is Ian Eskridge. For my co-host, the Danny Miller, you guys have a great night. Thanks for hanging out.